Well, you mentioned your newsletter, and I know you have a lot of other forms of content. You have a really great podcast, the newsletter. Did you leverage any of that content in writing the book? And how did you think about, for those of us who are wonky business people, your content or media channel strategy going into this?
Yeah, no, I definitely did. It's interesting. When I first wrote the initial draft in that stream of consciousness format, I
Mhm.
was also creating podcast content at the same time. So I was leveraging kind of back and forth, like what I was thinking, what I was feeling, what I was writing with podcast content, and then vice versa.
Mm,
So I think that was helpful in that initial draft. Um, I haven't necessarily used the podcast content in this second version, this revised
yeah.
version, but I also feel like I'm so clear with the podcast now where, initially I wasn't, just like I'm so clear with the book content now where initially I wasn't. And when I think about my media strategy in general, um, part of this is giving people content that is at a low barrier of entry so that they can start to
Mm,
make meaningful shifts in their lives and in their mindsets, right? Because as we know, it takes what 75 to 90 touches with a person for them to actually not necessarily want to listen, but to really do something with it. And we're all the same way. We're humans. There's so much information coming at us all the time. We're not going to act on everything we hear. So I think about the podcast as a way to just give people more information, to help guide them through something that might be challenging, to share vulnerably what I've experienced. And I think
mhm.
from what I'm hearing, that resonates the most with people. And, from there, the book is obviously another kind of low barrier to entry where people can start to really make some changes. And we'll see where it all goes from there. I'm excited for, the book launch in September and then what comes after that.
Yeah. It's both a drip, drip, drip strategy of your content, but it's also a great way for you to scale your message and your impact.
Yeah, really good point. Yeah.
Yeah, really fun.